It's time to dust off the vinyl and let the needle do its thing.
We've reviewed the houses, so now we're going to discuss everything else.
That means Scarezones, shows, food, and the tribute store.
This is episode 530 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. As always, we are so glad to have you back, so you can just hear us talk about nonsense. You're not introduced yet. Yeah, but I am not alone here. Joining me, I have somebody that was chuckling in the background, Lee.
Hello, everyone.
Tracy.
Hello, everybody.
And Michelle.
Hello, everybody.
What is up, guys? How are we doing?
Yeah.
Hanging on by a thread.
I'm glad Michelle said it, because I think me and Tracy are kind of there as well, to be fair, at this point.
Well,
Oh my God.
a bit broken. Literally.
Literally. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Tracy's broken a bone again just before we're about to go to Florida.
Hang on. No.
She broke it.
I did it during the last trip.
Yeah.
How did you break a bone during Florida?
Oh.
We were in Toothsome and getting into the booth, and my leg was just hanging out, and I was like, oh, trip hazard. So I just slid my leg in, and the edge of the sole of my sneaker caught in the pile of the carpet, and it was just like a little wobble. That was it. And I was kind of like, oh, just tweaked my ankle. And I just thought it was, like a little mild sprain or something.
Yeah, no.
No. Cracked a bone.
What?
That's
the
simple. I know.
What the heck?
She needs some calcium
She's
in her
very
diet.
powerful.
She needs some
Michelle.
calcium in her diet. That's the problem.
Yeah. And vitamin D
when we
and
were in
stuff.
Europe, everybody looked at us like we were crazy because Krista always ordered milk for drink. But I think that you need to drink some milk, Tracy.
She's lactose
I'm
intolerant,
lactose
which is why
intolerant,
she
so that's
isn't.
not a good idea.
No.
That's why she
Well,
doesn't
shit.
drink milk.
Yeah.
Take a supplement. Good God.
I do. But yeah, I'm a special kind of special.
You really are. You broke more bones in the last 3 years than I've broken my entire life.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So as we said earlier, we are going to be talking about Scarezones and our rankings.
I can't believe that Horror Nights is just about over. And because we were there
crazy.
so long ago. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rubbish. I
It needs
don't
to be
like
over
it.
so I can
Not
stop
me. I
taking
was just there last
pictures.
weekend.
Yeah, we know. It just feels like this is the problem with going early, that by the time it's finished, you're just like, "Ugh, I've forgotten it all now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that and you just get FOMO for the entire time you're not there.
Completely.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's do the damn thing. So let's start off with Horrors of Halloween, which, as you know, was the entranceway for our Pumpkin Lord and Savior. I guess let's start off, Lee. Where do you got that at?
I've actually got this lower down than I thought. I've got it down as number 4. And it's not because it was bad. It suffers from that same thing that I've said about that entrance scare zone. Because of where it is and how we normally do Halloween Horror Nights, we barely hit it. So because we're not in with the masses coming into the park, we're not really entering it there because we normally do in Stay and Scream. To be fair, this year, the first night, we actually did do it that way. But as far as an entrance scare zone, actually, it was really good. Obviously, having the Pumpkin Lord there was awesome. You had to look for Little Boo going under the little awning thing every time. It was actually a really good scare zone. I really enjoyed it. And sort of having Hellblock and Coven, let's not even talk about them at this point because we all know where they are on our rankings list.
Presumptuous?
No, I know where they are on our rankings list because we've done them. And I've
yes,
seen the listeners one, so I know where they are on that list as well. You're more likely to hit it, but again, it just suffers from being at the front of the park. And if you're doing Stay and Scream, you tend not to go anywhere near it, especially with not having that Shrek house there anymore. So I liked it, but it was low down.
I mean, to be fair, it is. I mean, it suffers from that walkway kind of syndrome that it's always been just kind of this mismatch of the entire event summarized. And I'll give credit to them that I think, every year has been a little bit for what they have and what they need to do there. I think they do a little better every year.
Yes,
So
agreed.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had it also at number 4. So yeah.
Hey, I had it at number 4 too.
Look at that. Are we going to do a royal flush here? Tracy, where are you at?
Tracy got a number 1.
Let's make it a full house.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
And in my hype list, I had it 3.
Oh, no.
Because I did a hype list as well. Yeah. Although I must admit, that was my favourite one going through in a wheelchair. I got so much interaction. And I even got my chin stroked with a bony finger.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The actors will never touch you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't say that.
It wasn't a scare actor either.
No.
You hear that? At least she likes bones.
Michelle.
Wow.
Well, that set the tone for tonight then, eh?
Okay.
I had it at my number 1 in the hype list.
Okay.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
And it got knocked down to number 4. I still love the Pumpkin Lord. Like, he was amazing.
Yeah.
No, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, I sat there and watched his little thing, several times and waved at him and he would wave back. And it was super, super cool. Well done. The pumpkin, the arch,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it, walking through at night. Beautiful.
So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really was.
And I loved the scare actors up on stilts. That's always a cool thing. I don't know. It just wasn't, I guess there weren't as many scare actors through there as I wanted there to be. But then again, I guess they couldn't
Yes.
because
It's
it was already getting kind of crowded
Yeah.
with that archway being up.
Especially this year with having the walls up along the Shrek building as well.
Also, it was a very foggy area. And I'll be honest, when we went through and it was very foggy and you couldn't see, I was really concerned about the stilt walkers. Because I don't want to knock somebody over and I don't want them landing on me.
All the scare zones this year, the fog was amped up to like 10.
Yeah, it was
Fog budget was up.
for sure.
Yeah. No, it was. I also noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed on repeat visits where I like the Pumpkin Lord. I think he progressively got better and kind of ad-libbed a little bit. Not ad-libbed, but kind of just did his own little thing.
That's what I'm saying. Because from what I can gather, it wasn't him talking. From the bits I've seen, a lot of it was like pre-recorded stuff, and I kind of wish was just like I wish they'd just give him a microphone and went have
like a voice
at
actor.
it. Yeah, I wish it was. It'd be so much better.
I will say there was just we went there quite a few times, and towards the end, one of the funniest things I had seen was obviously people go there and are praising the Pumpkin Lord. He gathers a group and all that, and I just kind of walk into this one group there, and I don't know how it got to this point, but he's making the kid do push-ups.
I saw that on TikTok or somewhere.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I was there. I literally he's doing push-ups, and like he keeps on looking at the kid and raising his number 1 finger, like to do one more, and one more,
that's cool.
and one more, and then he finally goes, "Okay, stand up," and he tells the crowd to like applaud for him, all with just hand gestures, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's
That is
awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
it's definitely one of the better entrance ones of the years that we've been.
Yeah.
I just want to put something out there, because obviously everybody at Universal listens. So a little merch idea, because I think I want this anyway. One of my first thoughts about the Pumpkin Lord was, I want a plushie of that.
Yeah,
And then thinking about it, do you know what? All the icons would make amazing
you
plushies.
probably would. They do them in the little vinyl figures, so why not?
And I'm like, right, I want plushies. Get on it, please. So I know you're listening. They're not, obviously. But,
Andrew.
Yeah.
hey, Andrew, get sewing.
All right, Tracy.
So yes, next up we have Graveyard Deadly Unrest. I think I know where this is going to be. For me, I had this at number 1.
That
And
doesn't surprise me.
That was also in my hype list as well.
Okay.
It was stunning. Even by day, when usually they're a bit like, when you walk, because you can see everything during the day. It was absolutely gorgeous. The attention to detail. And I swear there was where the twins were.
Yes.
And there was a little arched bits for like where they would put the coffins or the urns in and wall them up. I swear that something got added
You
every
commented
single
on that
day. There was
lot,
a few
didn't you?
new things I kept noticing, and then I started looking out for it, and I swear they
doesn't
were adding to it.
surprise me.
I love that. It just adds more to it. But it was so atmospheric. The actors were absolutely, to use a kid's term, on point. I know it's no, that's out of fashion, but
No cap.
yeah, no cap. Absolutely loved it. Again, it was another good one going through in a wheelchair. In fact, I took a full ride through of it. A ride through.
It was pushing because
to
it
be
wasn't
fair,
me.
the entire event would be great in a wheelchair, just so you don't have to. Kill your
I mean,
feet.
that's very true.
No, you were
Yes.
pushing me because I was at the front because I ended up complaining because I couldn't hear the conversation behind me.
So awkward.
You were rubbish. Yeah. So, Lee, where have you got it?
Oh, Trizzy's hosting now.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Lee, where do you have it?
Number 3. Like, I liked it a lot, but it was one of them. You didn't get a. See, I've watched vlogs and stuff since we've come back, and when you see it from a distance, that's when you get the full effect of that scare zone because you can see the lightning and stuff. Whereas when you're in it, not so much. It's difficult, isn't it, to talk about scare zones because we don't really get scared in them. It was beautiful. I like the fact this year that they've really pushed stuff out into the streets because of not having to worry about the parade and stuff. The twins were awesome. There's that one guy in the suit that seems to be every vlog I watch. It's the same guy. He's awesome. The little T-Rex ghost that was Alexa's favourite.
The skeleton ghost.
Yes.
Oh, so
It
good.
was cool.
Yeah, I'm remembering.
Yeah, it
various
was
things.
really good, but
It's so
was that the one
cheesy.
that had like the part on the top
yes.
of his head? Okay.
That
Yeah.
was
Like a skeleton ghost riding on someone's shoulders.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
that was
the whole thing.
awesome.
Looked like a little T-Rex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah, there's not much else to say. It was really good. It was really atmospheric, but I think to get to fully appreciate it is one to see it from a distance. It looks awesome.
Mm.
Yeah.
I could have photographed that for hours. Where did you have that one?
3.
3.
I had it at 3 too.
Ugh.
3 or 2.
Tracy
I
cut
had
their
it
mics
at
now.
3 also,
Ugh.
which is where it was on
You
my
know, people.
hype list.
Okay.
Okay.
It was a great scare zone. There were a couple others I liked more.
Mm-hmm.
Super fog heavy every time I walked through it. The scare actors were cool. There were a couple of points where I initially wasn't thinking about the fact that I was in a graveyard and there were just men walking around in suits trying to scare me. And I was like, you're not scary. You're just a dude in a suit. What's going on? And then, of course, Maddie was like, no, they're supposed to be dead. And that's like what they were
Yeah.
buried in. I was like,
Yeah.
oh. But they weren't scary to me. So I guess that's why I didn't. They just didn't look scary to me. Like the actors that were walking around, they weren't icky enough, I guess. But the 2 dudes on top, the demon guys, whatever they were
Yes,
called,
and,
Yes.
and sleep or something like that,
Was
weren't
it
they?
sleep? I think.
All right. I didn't know that.
I know one was death.
Brother death and brother sleep or something. I think that's what Maddie told me.
Oh, I could do with some sleep. I might go and see him.
There's like a whole story, but those were really cool. If you stayed long enough and watched them open or close their wings, very
Okay.
cool.
Yes.
It's another
yeah.
scare zone that suffers from being where it is because unless you're entering the
exit.
park or you're leaving the park, you're not going to go to any houses that way. So it's not somewhere you're going to naturally walk through whilst visiting the houses and stuff.
No, because wasn't that last time we were there. Killer Clowns, wasn't that over that way?
In the Shrek queue, and like I
Yeah,
say, with not
because we
having the
haven't got
Shrek,
that, so
with
yeah,
not
you
having
haven't
the
got
Shrek
the-
house now,
Yeah.
you've got
There's no reason to be over
Yeah.
there, really.
You've got Hellblock and Coven, which you would access going down the side of Transformers that way. So you wouldn't even
would
go.
You'd be going to Kid Zone though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be going back that way. That's what I'm saying. You're only doing it entering the park. Once you're in the park and you've gone through it,
Yes,
Yeah.
you're never
Right.
going to pass through that scare zone again. I'm surprised they haven't done one down that alley like Transformers and where the meet and greet is, because I know they have done. They did one back in, I want to say, 21.
Was that when it was covered?
No, it was Nightmares, and it was one where they had like black walls in, but they
Oh,
changed
yes.
it throughout the course of the night, so it was a different way through all the time.
Love that.
They've never really done a scare zone down there, and this year probably would have benefited from having one down there, to be honest.
I just wish they would open up a horror makeup show during
Agreed.
Absolutely
HHN.
agree.
Agreed.
change it up, make it scarier. That would bring some crowds down that way for sure as well.
Yeah.
But that area is not usually my favorite scare zone, but it is one of my favorite places to just hang out because it doesn't get crowded.
Yes.
And it is the best area for a scare zone to just go and hang out and
Yeah.
people watch and meander and take pictures and everything. All the other scare zones get super crowded because they're just people walking through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just so open as well. It's a really good place for a scare zone, and that one was like it was when it was like the director and
Icon Alley
the
at
Icon
25
Alley
was amazing.
because it's meandering, so it's not like a straight run through. So, and I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually had this. I had this almost tied with another one, and it's really a toss up for me. But I had to put this at number 2.
Okay.
Oh, I know what your number one is then.
Yeah, it's like for the same reasons you guys said, it was great. We also, like, one night, Alexa and I just sat down in the middle of the zone because we were tired, and it was towards the end of the night. We just sat there watching some really awesome scares, particularly the statue that has that wall that blocks you coming from Mel's. So it gets a lot of good jump scares, and obviously the skeleton ghost, he was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was definitely better than Vanity Ball at 19.
I mean but it's unfair because I think we
but again,
we didn't see it
because of where it is. Anyway.
Yeah, Michelle.
Yep. So moving on to my least favorite.
What?
Oh, wonder what position that's in for you then, Michelle.
Are you kidding me?
This was my least favorite, and that is Scarecrow Curse Oil.
Wow.
So what did you not like about this?
One of my biggest complaints was that the dudes that were up top, you couldn't see them. Like, it was so dark in there.
It was a very dark
that's true.
zone.
And they
You
didn't
couldn't
do
see
anything
them
anyway.
up there. That seemed super pointless to me.
Yes, I agree with that.
And then the area underneath them was just like dead space. So I felt like a huge portion of that scare zone was just wasted.
By the way, Stephen, if you're listening, I don't agree with Michelle at all. So you can have it out with her. It's nothing to do with me.
That's fine. And maybe just a little bit of lighting could have changed my opinion of that. So yeah, there was like no interaction with those guys up there. Just I don't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
The scarecrow that was like pretending to actually hang like a scarecrow at the very entrance, if you're coming from Hollywood, hanging on the fence there, that looks totally fake, and then all of a sudden he lunges at you. That was super cool. But the rest, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. It just was like that scare zone. That area is usually my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because the trees are all lit up and it's just gorgeous. And maybe that was why this one fell short for me, because it didn't have that factor, that pretty factor. The scarecrows they just didn't do it for me at all. I didn't think the costuming, like their costumes and masks themselves, looked particularly interesting, it just was boring to me. Sorry.
Did you see the pumpkin stilt walkers?
Yeah.
You didn't think those were kind of cool?
Michelle's proper hardcore now, isn't she?
Kind of cool, but
like,
I just
don't
feel
get
like I've
scared
seen
anymore.
that stuff before.
Well, you have in the house about 5 years ago.
Yeah. But the house was terrifying. This was not terrifying to me.
Not now. Like I said, now you're hardcore. It's like,
I am hardcore.
Like, Halloween what?
No, I'm not as hardcore as you guys. I still do get some scares. I got knocked to the floor a couple times on some scares, but
a couple of times, exactly. I've been through houses with you, Michelle. A couple of times
I know.
is the first scene.
I know. I've gotten much better. But even still, like this, not like scare factor aside, this house just didn't draw me in anyway. Like, I just wanted to get through it and get on to what I was going to.
Well, then.
No,
Sorry.
all opinions are valid, even the wrong ones.
I disagree.
But no, I'm kidding.
Because
I'm kidding.
Well, if you disagree, Lee, where did you have it at?
I had this at number 1.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
This scare...
Michelle, where did you have this? 3?
Last.
Oh, last.
Oh, her last.
I'm not.
You even joked.
I know. I'm just sorry.
This scare zone, I've always complained, the problem with this scare zone is it's too small. It's always one of the best, but it's just too small, which is why it's usually down on my list. But the effort that went into it this year with having the barn, with me kind of getting to go through Scarecrow the Reaping by proxy of a scare zone was obviously the best I'm going to get to getting through Scarecrow the Reaping. But the music was
also
awesome.
That's not remotely close, by the way.
It's close enough. It's close enough
close
that I'm
you're
ever
gonna
going to get.
yeah.
To be
No, yeah,
honest.
exactly.
Yeah.
But for the actual house, the
Yeah.
house was like leaps and bounds.
Oh God,
past
yes,
that,
nothing
yeah.
like the house.
That banjo music was awesome. So everyone who's a Horror Nights fan knows that fog is the thing you associate with Horror Nights.
Yeah.
And that scare zone was full of it. There were times when I was walking through that scare zone and couldn't see my hand in front of my face. Like, this is awesome because
See, I
just
didn't experience that at all.
it's
Really?
so good.
No.
You just want. I could just see like YouTube videos of people just walking through the fog and then something coming out because it was perfect for that. There was the toilet scare down the bottom was awesome. There was also like a push open.
Yeah.
Like a an elastic kind of one.
I
thing
like that
pushing
one.
through. I do agree with you, Michelle. The scare actors up on the top were kind of wasted because they didn't. It's not like they were interacting or shouting. No, you didn't even necessarily need to see them. They were just kind of there.
And dark, and you couldn't see what the heck. Like, what are you doing up there?
Yeah,
dude?
they could have been shouting. It was weird. Like during daylight would have been all right, but I loved it. I just thought, atmosphere wise, the best scare zone there this year without fail.
Really? Okay.
Loved it. And we passed through it a lot.
I did too.
Mm-hmm.
But I never got that foggy feeling ever. I mean, there was fog, but never like it just kind of was at my feet. There was never like an overwhelming feeling of fog when I walked through it.
Completely enveloped in it many, many times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I like the fact that they built this whole barn thing. So, for effort on that. We went through it multiple times as well. I have it at number 3 myself. Yeah, it was a fun zone. I enjoyed it. I like the little pumpkin stilt guys.
Yes. Yeah, it just suffers because it is small. It is really small. And it's such a
tight
shame.
because there's a lot of people going through there.
Yeah.
Where did you have it, Chris?
3.
I had it at 3.
Okay.
Where have you got it?
I'm waiting to be asked.
You just
I'm
asked
being polite. You see? You're jumping the gun, Lee. I also had that number 3. I did have it originally at number 2 in my hype list. I really liked it. I agree. It was at times a bit too dark in there. We seemed to hit it well for fog. I would have liked to have seen a roof on the barn.
Yeah, I do agree with that a little bit. Sorry again, Stephen.
No, it's all things because then they could have maybe had like people on bungees.
That would have been awesome. I don't know how you do that in a scare zone.
Well, no, because they're just like over your head.
Yeah.
Not bouncing
Yeah, it
into
could
the
have gone
crowd.
from the 2 platforms. Yeah,
You
that'd have
know,
been awesome. But then would you have seen them?
But during the day, I enjoyed like walking slowly through and seeing the actual details because I'm a sucker for them. Some of the best fake pumpkins I have ever seen. In fact, there was one I was obsessed with and took a photo every time I passed it because it was a melty pumpkin and it looked like how pumpkins when I never bothered doing anything with them and they just melt under the sink. And Lee has to clean them up.
Usually.
But the highlight for me was in the scarecrows, the blow up Wendy's doll.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I was just trying to think what it was because you and Raymond were obsessed with it.
The Wendy's blow up doll. That was absolutely brilliant.
What?
Did I miss this?
I'll see if
There
I've
was
got-
like a mannequin at the end of, like, as you came out into Kid Zone, like a white female mannequin.
with red lipstick.
Yeah.
And it looked like Wendy from the chain, but mouth open like a blow up doll.
They were
Oh
obsessed
my.
with it every time we walked past it.
I may have to bump this up now. Like me some Wendy's.
The thing from this as well is if you're coming from the main part of the park and going through here, you're going to 2 of the most popular houses at the event this year in Monsters and the weekend as well. So it'll get a lot of traffic coming from that Mel's way through into there as well.
Yeah.
I've just found the photos from there, actually, the daytime photos. Wow.
Cool.
But for some reason, no Wendy.
Yeah, I loved it.
Why have I not got a picture of her?
Anyway.
All right. Lee, can you tell us about
No, I found it.
about a special place?
I'm going to put it in the group chat. Sorry, I found it.
I will tell you,
Let me check it out.
I will name the worst scare zone at the event this year, and that is Conjure the Dark.
Hey, there you go.
Oh.
No.
We caught the little show thing the first time we walked through it, and we stopped and we're like, oh, we're just in time for it. And she came out and she did a little thing, and then it kind of ended, and everyone was stood there going, is that it?
Like, what are you? Yeah.
Are we?
Like,
Is this the end? Like, it just can't. Are we? And like, they kind
I
of
just like to
stood
point
around.
out, it kind of ended. It didn't end. It just stopped. There
Yeah,
was no.
sorry, yes, right.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah.
We thought we were waiting for something else
Yeah,
because
everyone-
it was like a transition.
And then kind of everyone was like, oh, I guess that's it, and just started like randomly moving away as people were like, oh, I guess it's finished then.
that was my experience as well. Now, when you guys saw it, did you at the end of the whole, spell or whatever she's doing on stage, did you get a bunch of scare actors group up in the front and then run right at you, or no?
No.
No, they walked
Yeah.
a bit lethargically.
Like, they all came out on their own as she kind of introduced them all, and then they just went about the business.
You see, I got one run of that thing because we watched it a couple times. Funny enough, not because I wanted to, but because I told Alexa, I'm like, there has to be more to this. There's something missing. You can't just do this thing and then stop talking and then just walk away from
Yep.
the pot. And that's our experience that we had. It was at least 2 or 3 times. And then one of the times, I guess this was the full show or they had to modify it throughout the event. But, there was a few of the scare actors in that zone kind of come up to her, almost like not worshiping her, but kind of, offering or something like that. And then she kind of sends them out. And if the scare actors are in it, are into it, they'll like lunge at whoever's closest to them to try to scare you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's cool, but still kind of falls flat.
That's exactly how I felt about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm at number 5, by the way, in case you couldn't tell.
Lee, you and I are just on total opposites today.
Wait up.
So-
Casey, where have you got it? 5. I know you have, because you hated it as much as I did.
What we're on?
Conjure the Dark.
Yeah, the 5, and it was also 5 on my hype list.
Right, so carry on, Michelle.
High 5.
Tell me why it's your number
okay.
1.
Hold on, it's not my number 1. Okay, it's my number 2 though, and I
Okay.
had it also on my hype list at number 2.
It definitely is number 2.
God. So my experience of it was it was very beautiful when I walked through there. I really liked the costuming of all of like the demon. I don't even know what you call them, but like the demon guys that were hiding, their masks were awesome. And my interactions with them were really fun. I watched the show a couple of times. The witch really interacted with my crowd, whoever I was with. Like, she really kind of drew us in and pointed us out and stuff. And it was kind of cool. I didn't like the where they brought the girl up on stage. I guess she was being sacrificed or
Oh, I
whatever.
must have missed that. I didn't see that bit.
No,
I
we
didn't see
saw.
that.
Did we?
Oh, really?
came in at that point.
Oh, God knows.
Yeah, like the demons captured her out in the audience and brought her up on stage
She was on the stage.
to sacrifice her while she was doing the
Okay.
thing with the pot. And
Cooking.
The pot.
I thought it was
Wish I'd had some.
the cauldron. I thought
Cauldron, yeah.
I thought she was going to be like sacrificed. Like, I thought it was at some point would get bloody because they literally tied her up, pretended to tie her up in the back of the stage there, and she was acting like she was trying to get away, whatever, and acting
Like
like
the
she
rest
was
of us.
screaming. But she didn't like it. She never was actually sacrificed or got bloody or anything. So that part, I was like, huh, well, that was a letdown. I thought we're gonna kill the girl.
That's the torture. They're making her watch it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad when I saw it. Like, it was. So you guys saw it in the beginning. I saw it in the middle of October. So maybe it's changed.
Maybe.
Hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, I saw it towards the end of September as well, and it did change throughout, but maybe it got better. I don't know. I think it was oversold from the story.
Yeah.
So we had
And
I don't know. The
disinterested
story
witch.
made its way. Like the story made sense to me. And the scare actors did all get up there like in the front during her show, and then ran out, and they were really like interactive with the crowd when she was doing her thing. It was really cool. I don't know, that to me that was probably the most interactive scare zone that I experienced this year
Really?
on several occasions. Yes.
Wow. I think we're going to talk about a scare zone in a minute that I think at least two of us will disagree on that statement. But I think
that's so funny. It really that shows you right there why people go multiple nights,
absolutely.
because you can have totally different experiences.
Yeah.
2 different nights.
I think that San Francisco scare zone is a little too open. It's a little too well lit. Because there wasn't any fog in there that I can remember of, because it's so open, goes against what I'm going to say about the next one. But
at the entrance and the exit, there was fog.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was, and the lighting was really pretty when I was there.
It is,
but
but
it was
like too
it was
light.
like blue and purple and turquoise.
Green.
It was really pretty.
Just on what Lee was saying is, it's a big open area there, and I like the idea of this small little stage show going on. It lends itself well because they have the area for people and crowds to gather and stop and not block the whole walkway. So I'm all for this. Universal, do another one. Just do a little bit better.
Yeah, it goes back to, was it 26 or 27 when they had the the voodoo queen thing that ended up getting taken down because people complained it was too
gory.
violent.
It's like, Max, we were gutted
what year
about
was
that.
that? 26, 27,
that
28,
Bayou?
something like that. What was the year of Dead Waters? I'm assuming it must have been that year.
That's what Bayou, wasn't
16.
it?
Yeah.
Because I really was gutted about that. I wanted to see that.
Yeah, something like that. But it just the show itself was just complete.
Well, I just realised.
What the hell was that?
It was so much of a non-entity. I know there was something opposite it. I couldn't tell you because we just ploughed through.
And that was the thing. Because that first interaction left us completely cold, we just barreled straight through it any point we went
for me, the demon masks looked like they were like rubber things bought at Walmart and just pulled over the heads.
I mean, they might have been, to be fair.
We had the witch queen, whatever she was just disinterested, and it looked like she was badly lip syncing.
They dropped the ball with the witches this year, didn't they?
She just, I was going to say, and you can tell it was linked to that one.
Are you talking about on Conjure the Dark or the Voodoo Queen?
No, Conjure the Dark.
Yeah.
See, my witch was up there like, she must have been a professional dancer or something.
No.
She was up there like dancing really well. She was dancing, and even when she wasn't doing her show, she was like interacting with the crowd and talking, and
this
very,
one was
very interactive.
Nope.
This one was, as soon as she was done, she was gone.
I saw her walking around. No, the one we saw, she would walk around.
Really?
But also, so you're saying she's interacting, like for us, one of the weird things or the awkward things was the silence.
Yeah.
Because she's just up there. You just hear bubbling from the cauldron, and she's just kind of walking around doing her thing. Like if they would have at least added some kind of, phrases or things that she could say in between, I think that would have been better. But the weird part was if you get there to like sit and watch the show, you just have a crowd of people for a few minutes in dead silence looking at a stage. And that for me, it just felt weird. You don't know if the show just finished, if it's about to start, if there's even a show, you got to wait.
Yeah, they must have changed something, because that was totally not what I experienced.
It felt like, for me, it felt like someone just being chucked up there and told, you'll have to do this, you'll have to fill in.
I could do better.
I
shouldn't say that.
No, don't say that.
I want to see that.
I would like to see that.
Conjure the Dark, that's what I'd do. Anyway, we've probably spent the most time talking about the worst one.
Yeah.
No, it was not the worst one. It was good.
3 out of 4 people disagree.
Well, that's okay.
Tracy?
One person can be right.
And the last one we have.
Yes. Speak to us about the Sweetie.
Yes.
Sweetie Revenge.
Sweet Revenge. I like this one.
I know you do.
I like this one. This is my number 2. But it was a toss-up between this and Graveyard Deadly Unrest. I
thought you were going to say Graveyard Games there.
This is number 4 on my hype list. Because I thought, it's just going to be, a twee little kids trick or treating thing. Oh no, it was just my childhood Halloween. It was awesome. It was everything from like the 70s and 80s. I loved it.
Oh, the soundtrack to
Just-
that Scare Zone was amazing.
Great interaction, great sets. Some great food over that way as well.
There
My
was
favourite food was over that way.
so much going on.
There was, and the mayor, and I've forgotten her name.
She just called Miss Sweet.
Wasn't it
So
Mr.
he's
and Mrs.
made
Sweet?
Is it
Yeah.
just Mrs. Sweet?
Yeah.
She was amazing. They were so good, and I'm sorry, but the kid dressed as the cardboard box robot was
Yes.
freaking
That
awesome.
was hilarious.
That was a costume I begged my mother to make every year, and she wouldn't because it was too American.
I got my only Scare Zone scare in this year.
Yeah.
And it was pretty epic because everybody watched it unfold around me and I was oblivious to
brilliant.
it. Because I was on my phone and Alexa, Tracy and Chris were setting it up. And I was just completely unaware of what was going on.
Do you know what makes it funnier? What are you allergic to?
What am I, alert? Cat?
Cats.
Yeah, it was a cat.
But really photogenic Scare
some
Zone as well.
awesome
Absolutely
pictures in
gorgeous.
there,
Another one I could have spent hours just.
And it was
Wondering.
huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the largest Scare Zone I think
Yes.
they've ever done.
Yeah.
And unlike San Fran, it works. I think
Yeah,
New
the
York
lighting
generally
worked with it
works
and-
as a bigger Scare Zone because it's
Mhm.
huge. Because it went right down to like the corner of Jimmy Fallon,
Mhm.
encompassed all of Battery Park, and then right the way down to the Lou Wasserman statue. It's a huge Scare
Yeah.
Zone.
Huge. And it really had so much going on in that Scare Zone
Yeah.
where it really did feel like a small town
Yeah,
kind of festival
It
happening.
really did. Yeah.
And you really have to spend some time in there because the first time we went in there, I was super bummed. I'm like, this isn't really doing it for me. Like it feels more cheesy than anything else.
Mm.
And then we finally took our time. We went back in there. We just kind of started looking around, and this, I want to say run through of the Scare Zone, but this one time that we were there, it was one of the best kind of experiences that we had because all the scare actors were extremely interactive. So we would have like the adults coming up to us, like begging us not to eat the candy, the kids trying to give us the candy.
awesome.
And like I would interact with them. I'm like, just jokingly, like, what happens if you eat the candy? And she just freak out and come to me. It's like, please don't eat the candy, blah, blah, blah. And like there was even this one time where we're just walking by and you see a bunch of scare actors grouped up together, kind of pointing at the side of the building where they had like a projection playing of somebody getting murdered up there, which you would never see
Yeah.
unless they were doing that, which they were intentionally doing that to have people look up
Yeah.
there and do that. So it was just this whole very interactive zone. Was
Yeah.
it scary? Not really, but it was fun. Like you
So
just
much
have a
fun.
good time going through there.
Yeah.
But that was I had a really good interaction in there, and Alexa was with me, and we were getting offered sweets, so we were going for us. Oh yes, and then Chris comes over. No, don't eat the. So we had this whole little scene going on.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and I really enjoyed that.
And we never even saw any of the like little mini shows of the mayor giving Major
No.
Sweet the key or anything like that. We've seen those in
were
vlogs
funny.
and stuff afterwards. So it just shows you what a really good Scare Zone.
And even though I missed those, I don't feel like I missed out because
No.
there was enough
Yeah.
going on there. It was.
This is my number 2.
So this actually was my number 1,
I
and
know.
which is interesting
keeping
because
tabs.
on my hype list it was my number 5.
Wow.
Yeah. Like you said, it wasn't scary, but it was just really cool and funny and everything you guys said, a flashback to my childhood. The sets were so incredibly elaborate, like those parade floats.
Yes.
Like, what the heck? When I walked through with my family the first time, I had 2 people with me that have never been to Halloween Horror Nights ever. And they were like, is there a parade going to happen? I'm like, no, this is actually just a Scare Zone.
Which those floats are the same people who make their other floats too.
Yeah,
Is it
so incredible
Kern?
for them to
Yeah.
invest
Kern
that much
Studios,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
On the side where they had like the heads and the candy jars,
Yes.
super cool. And then the lighting in the trees, oh my god,
Yeah.
it was so beautiful. Interestingly enough, the first time I walked through it, it was daytime, so that doesn't really count. Second time, Maddie and I, we were on our break for our RIP, and I was like, let's take the long way back to meet up with everybody and purposely walk through that scare zone. We walked through it, and literally there was not one scare actor in that entire zone.
Wow.
Not one. And Maddie was like, what the heck?
That's
that was
weird.
weird. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I went through it the next weekend with my family, and it was fabulous. Like, so good. So many scare actors all over the place. The costumes were phenomenal.
Yep.
The scare actors were super fun. It was just like I could have hung out in that area all night long. If I'd had more chances to go than just one night, I could have just hung out in that scare zone for a long time, just chilling. Because it really did feel like it was a festival within a festival.
Yeah. I think if you want to, I think that is the scare zone that encompasses the overall theme of Halloween Horror Nights this year.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah. I love
And the
theme.
songs were perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that 50s. Yeah.
And you know the plus for it? Tribute stores there.
Well,
You know,
so
it's just-
and the fact they work that into the story is so clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving the tribute store and just walking straight out to that festival was a nice
So
touch.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
it
fun,
was.
that was a cool scare zone. Not at all what I expected it to be, but fabulous. I
Yeah.
loved it.
It just shows that it doesn't all have to be scary.
No.
Right.
You know,
But for us, I mean, what is scary? That's the thing.
Yeah,
real life.
I mean, there's true.
very true.
Yeah.
Like people knocking,
This is
you
our
have to get up
escape.
for work, and like, oh no.
Oh, don't. When my alarm went off this morning, I thought it was yours.
Ugh.
It was only when I hit empty bed that I realised that,
Anyway.
it's my alarm. Anyway, carry on.
Yes. All right, so that's gonna wrap up Scare Zones, I think.
I have been keeping tabs, so I do have a ranking.
Let's hear it.
What, for like us put
All of
together?
us, yeah.
Okay.
So do you want to go 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
5 to 1,
5 to 1. So in 5th place, we have Conjure the Dark.
of course. Sorry, Michelle.
In 4th place, we have Horrors of Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay.
3rd
We all had it number 4, didn't we?
is Scarecrow, Cursed Soil.
The
2nd
graveyard.
is Graveyard Deadly Unrest, and Sweet Revenge is number 1, and I'm not unhappy with that.
No, I
at
don't
all.
think
That
that's
is,
a bad.
Yeah,
that is
it's
my
okay.
list that I just said right now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty good list.
So
Cool.
yeah,
We just want to remind you that the Weekender is coming.
yes, the weekend is coming. It's like winter, but weekend.
It is winter. It might not feel like it in Florida, but it is.
So yes,
It'll be
it's.
colder in the February trip than it is that trip.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it could ever get any colder than that. I don't think here gets
Better
that
bloody
cold.
not be. I do not want to wear trousers.
Oh, I'm quite happy wearing trousers. Just don't want to be
No,
shivering.
it'll still be nice weather in December.
Yeah. So yes, it's taking place at Universal Orlando from Friday, December the 2nd until Sunday, December the 4th this year,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep. Tickets to the event, as well as the Seekender and Vivo Lunch add-ons, can all be purchased at UUOP Weekender 2022.eventbrite.com.
And for the very exclusive water taxi dining experience, that can be booked by emailing Michelle at PortKeyVacations.net. Hope to see you all there.
Yeah, it's like recording this. We're like, what, 5.5 weeks-ish away? I can't believe it's that close.
I know.
I'm nowhere near ready for it.
I'd just like to say, though, that Horror Nights has spoilt the Weekender for me, because now every time I read Weekender, it's spelt wrongly.
Yeah.
And I would love to have Abel there, but
Yes.
that's not happening. That would be an
Yeah.
event, wouldn't
Not
it?
with that attitude.
And if you guys are at all considering or on the fence about going to the Vivo event, please purchase those tickets ASAP, because if we don't reach our threshold pretty soon, we're going to have to probably
Yeah.
cancel that one and issue refunds to those who have purchased. So we can't wait much longer for those ticket sales to come in. So jump on it, guys, if you're interested.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
T-shirts are still on sale. You haven't got long, about 2 weeks to get in, because I think they need to be in by November the 5th.
Yes, it's not even 2 weeks. It's about a week.
Yeah, close
Yeah.
enough. A week and a half.
Yeah.
They are available in small to XL, and if you want to go and see them, if you go to facebook.com UUOP podcast and find the events page. They're in there. Scroll down somewhere.
I thought they were pinned.
And the size chart. No, I don't know whether I did.
Did you
I'll
unpin
go
it?
pin it. I don't know.
There is a size chart, yes.
Yes, there's a size chart. The 2 to 4XL, they are $25. And pick them up at the event, or if you want one, we can sort shipping out to
wherever you are.
Yeah.
Vests are available upon request.
Yes.
And I'm very proud of this design. So come on.
Yep.
And
We're
for
actually using
Americans, vests means
a tank
tops.
top.
I swear I thought she meant like vest. I'm
A
like, that's
Me
cool.
too.
Look, a tank top is a
I
sweater
want the
vest.
vest.
Sweater vest. Yeah.
Anyway,
A wife beater.
come on, we've got
We
plenty
call
to get
them
to.
bulletproof jackets down here in Florida. So
Because we're not
Well-
doing a new show. We've got Producers Club birthdays that I should have done 2 weeks ago, but I didn't, so we have to do them now.
Oh, okay then. Well, I'll get on with the birthdays then. Nice little handful here, as usual. If I
that's what she said.
hey,
Sorry.
if I mess anybody's names up, apologies. Let me know how to pronounce it, and I will forget again next year. So we are going to kick this off with the lovely Austin Cleary's birthday on October the 26th. Happy birthday, Austin!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños, Austin.
There we go. I thought you might get that.
And then we have birthday triplets. This doesn't happen often. On the 28th of October, first of all, we have the awesome David Ross's birthday. Happy birthday, David!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, David.
And then we have the lovely Jason Montagu's birthday. Happy birthday, Jason!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Birthday, Mr. Montague.
Oh, he pronounces it Montague.
I like that last name.
I wonder if he's married to a Capulet.
Yeah. there you go.
And the third triplet, because there's no more than 3 clues in the name.
He is technically a member of the team, I
He
suppose, at this
is.
point
He does
as well.
Awesome job, actually. Every time I see his work, I am like, it's so good. It is the fantastic Jeremy Frable's birthday. Happy birthday, Jeremy!
Happy birthday, Jeremy!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I actually run into him when we were there for the weekend, but Tracy wasn't with me as usual.
What do you mean, as usual?
When you weren't there, when I bumped into lots of people.
No.
Because she's trying to avoid you, man. Get the point.
Oh, I do.
What, Lee? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the people. No. And moving into November. On the 1st of November, we have the amazing Chris Natalini's birthday. Happy birthday, Chris!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, gang of Chris.
Too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the 3rd, we have the fantabulous, I'm mixing words now, the fantabulous Corey Hall's birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
Corey!
birthday, Corey!
Happy birthday, Corey.
Happy birthday, Corey.
Michelle likes Corey.
Oh, that's good. We all like Corey.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And bringing up the rear, last but by no means least, it is the gorgeous Melinda Dodson's birthday. Happy birthday, Melinda!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So happy birthday, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic day. Get lots of cake and presents and cake and hugs and cake.
Yes.
Yes.
Tickets for the weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good present.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So now we are going to move on to this year's show, one of which, unfortunately, quite a lot of people didn't witness. So we will start off with that one.
Yeah. Ghoulish, A Halloween Tale.
Tracy and I
Oh.
rewatched these 2 shows last night just to refresh our memories, and we were discussing, because October's the busiest month for horror nights, so many people will not have got to see Ghoulish this year.
I am devastated for the people who aren't going to see it and for the team who've put it together because I love this show.
Michelle, you being one of them. You've been twice and you never got to see it.
Nope. I did not get to see it.
Such a shame.
For me, this show, because you didn't get it at first, did you?
Well, I liked it, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, and because you'd said something about, because there was speculation about it being 2 shows, because side A, side B, and it was like, no,
Well, no,
it's
so
within the show.
So, Chris, I was my initial thoughts of it, I like it, but it feels like the directions that they were given is you need to do a Lagoon show. We want an original story, but you have to use the weekend. So at a midpoint, it completely changes, and the weekend comes, and I'm like, oh, it's so jarring because it feels like we've got all this original stuff, and then suddenly you've got to throw the weekend in. That's how it felt. And Tracy was like,
idiot. Basically, you realise it's them flipping the vinyl, A side and B side, and he just went, oh. I was like, you dorsey get.
So from the horse's mouth, the actual story for this show, Chris, I don't know whether you know this, it's the album predicting your death.
Mm.
So you start outside, you enter the house
The
where you
songs are
go
so
into
obvious.
a trance. You then go into the graveyard where you fall into your grave, and then side B takes over, and now everything's suddenly real. The tone completely changes before you're dead. Because you were dead, sorry. There's a transition moment where you keep falling, and death suddenly becomes scary. Blinding lights is the light at the end of the tunnel, and then the afterlife becomes a big party as you embrace it. And I'm like, oh, of course it is. But I wonder how many people get that out of it.
That sounds like a lot.
Barely
Like a stretch.
anybody.
Because for me, I can't remember who I explained it to as well, because Madness is in there. I mean, this whole show for me, I couldn't sit still, and I sang every song. I knew all the words, danced to everything. The energy was amazing. Madness, House of Fun.
It wasn't Madness, but
It's their song. And that's a teenage song. That's about going to
party.
it's about going to a pharmacy to buy condoms, because every song was a rite of passage within a life passing.
So wait, if that's the story, why is it called ghoulish?
Because
Because
you
a ghoul,
die.
I just looked up the exact
Oh, yeah.
definition of a ghoul. A ghoul is a demon-like being or monstrous humanoid. It's not a ghost. So if it's a story about dying, why is it called ghoulish?
Because
The
you're
demon's
being
killing you?
taken to hell. To the afterlife by the demon, I guess. Maybe not hell.
But
so
you
much,
wouldn't be partying if you just
I'm
went to
partying in
hell.
hell. I am. All my friends
It's
are there.
not hell. I think just the afterlife. But the weekend's there. Of course you would.
Huh.
I think we're looking too much into this at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a bit on the other side of the fence on this one. And it could be just because the previous two Lagoon shows are what you build up after 10 years of doing Lagoon shows to get to, and we got that. Like, we got Avengers Endgame, and then they gave us like the original Hulk this year. It was cool. Obviously, the water effects and all that stuff, they do a fantastic job at giving you some kind of cool visuals. But it felt, for us, it felt too childlike.
But
And
then,
I know it's like tradition. I know it's traditional
Exactly.
Halloween. I get it. But here's the thing. I saw this show 3 times. One by ourselves, the initial time. One during the RIP tour that we all did. And then one because my family was there and I wanted to show them.
did you not see
That's it.
when you came over to meet us then?
No, we saw them after.
Yeah, we met you up after.
They went to
Okay.
get booze instead.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll see what's
I don't
more
know.
important.
It didn't stick for us. It's like if you go like to the previous 2 shows, I would have seen that every single night.
Really? See, I know we
Basically, yeah.
didn't see last year's in person, but it just didn't do it for me. 2019 was the pinnacle. We've talked about
No,
it so much.
that's Avengers Endgame right
They will
there.
never. I didn't think Endgame was that good, to be fair, but whatever.
Get off this show.
Infinity War is a far better film, but anyway, that is they will for me they'll never beat that. But I
Yeah.
loved this show.
Yeah. The soundtrack was great. I'll give them that. Like, I enjoyed, the latter half of the soundtrack. I really do
Really?
like the Weekend remix. I love that. It just, at one point, it was just way too, it was a little too goofy for us. I don't know what other words to use. But it wasn't a terrible show.
They managed to squeeze an American Werewolf in London song in there, so that was me happy. I love it. I've listened to it a crap ton since we've got back. I love it.
Michelle, did you watch the videos online?
No.
Why?
Well, because I kept hoping I was going to get to see it, and then I just have been crazy busy since I got back.
Yeah. There's plenty of videos
So.
out there, though.
No, I have not seen it.
You
But
should.
the lagoon itself, when I was there, was lowered enough that you could see a lot more of the mechanics that are under the water. So I don't know if anybody knows the story of exactly why it's damaged or what happened, but obviously something's going on with the stuff under the water, and I guess they're just not interested in spending the money to fix it for the rest of the season, I guess.
No, it's such a shame because I know I've spoken to Jason, the guy who directed it, and he I think I said when we started talking about this originally that it's one of his favorite. It's one of his favorite shows he's directed so far, and the fact that probably not even half the people that have been to Horror Nights this year will get to experience it is so sad.
Yeah.
But
I watched the next show though. I like it a lot.
which one's that?
Halloween Nightmare Fuel, Wildfire.
I wonder why you'd like that.
So we've discussed this, Michelle. We've been told by many people that it's Chris will probably say the same, that it's exactly the same as last year's show. Did you think so?
No, there were some of the same components, but
It's 70%, by the way.
No, it's not. It's not
Oh,
70%. I will completely disagree with you on that.
no, I wouldn't say that at all. I liked this one a lot more. A lot more. So last year, one of my biggest complaints, and it might have been where I was sitting when I saw it, the couple times I saw it, but the two men that were back doing a lot of the fire tricks with like the fire batons and
The
stuff,
lanterns too, right?
they were always off sync, and that bothered me a lot. This year, phenomenal. Like they were always in sync. Their costumes were insane. I don't feel like there was as much like just filler.
No.
Last year there seemed to be a lot of like dancing from local dancers and stuff where they were just trying to fill the show.
Yeah.
This year didn't feel, there was dancing, but it was not a dance show.
No, definitely not.
The dancers were there to kind of give you something else to look while the main bit was going on. So like the silks or
Exactly.
the girl on the pole, that type of thing. There was something
Exactly.
like the main exhibit, and they were like the
Or they were
Fort.
trying to direct your attention away from them trying to like
Yes.
set up for something that was about to happen. So my attention was constantly redirected, and where I was sitting, I was in the middle, like right section. So my attention would be directed at one area, and then all of a sudden there was like a person right there on the stage in front of us, and I was like, whoa, where'd she come from? So it was very cool. The fire effects were very awesome and on point this year. It was so good. I loved it a lot.
We went back and watched last year's on YouTube because of what's being said about it. And it's not even half the show. It felt so amateurish last year. The music didn't work well with it. The music this year was perfect.
Yeah.
It suited it so much
There's
better.
so
than
much more
last year.
energy this year.
Yeah, it was so
And the
much.
actual
on the
Fuel
opposite side of
Girls
all
were
you guys right now.
Really?
the Fuel Girls were
Completely
so
opposite.
good.
It was
Uh-huh.
so much more polished this year. It
Yeah, it
flowed,
was-
whereas
it was
last
rounded.
year just didn't. So, Chris,
I think the only thing that was better this year was having the Fuel Girls there, because you can feel a little bit more. I don't want to say passion, but like maybe energy coming from them. Aside from that, this show is so much the same that I didn't even bother to go see it again after the twice. Was it twice? Maybe 2 times I saw it. It was, listen, you start the show with the same exact entrance, the same
Which
exact
they did,
music.
yeah, to be
right
fair.
there, turns me off immediately. Such an easy
Yeah, it was
fix.
the same concept.
Same concept, because they were going off a magic show that was on a show once and then incorporated fire. So did we like lose the ability to come up with a new story to incorporate fire with? Like, that's my problem here.
Yeah.
It was way too much of the same. I disagree. I actually think the music was way better before. I think some of the music in this one was not good. If for the new songs, because there was so many old songs that I heard from the previous year. I do agree with you, Michelle. Those two guys last year, specifically on the fire lanterns that they would do, like those were hard
awful.
because they had to be in sync, and more times than not they weren't. I'll give it to the fact that that's a lot more difficult thing to sync up than a baton or a stick, because they are swinging these giant chains around. Although that was one of my favorite effects from the previous year. But yeah, it just, I don't know, for me, it just, even if I go back on, and I'll go back and watch the old one, even if there is a lot more differences into what it was, it's essentially the same exact show. You didn't really say any bit of a new story, so it's the same exact story.
true.
So
The same
are we
story.
here
That's
just to see
true.
just fire? Because that can get boring really fast, right? Like if we go back to Academy of Villain times, like those were stories being told, albeit one year was terrible, but they still did a completely different story and did different things. I get there's only so much acrobatics you can do, so many rope swingings you can do. I get all that. But if you entertain us with other things, a storyline going through there, then that makes sense. And I just feel like this year's show was just lazy in the sense of not coming up with something new. So unless they can like dramatically either tell a new story and incorporate fire with that, or just do something else altogether, I don't think it has a long shelf life for the future of Horror Nights.
I can agree with that. That's fair.
I just wonder if it's because I've had all this pandemic crap going on, they never got to give us the full show. So this year they finally did manage to, because there seemed to have been more dancers this time as well, and more effects, and
there were more people for sure. Yeah,
I'm wondering if it's been a knock on from all of this COVID.
It could be
stuff.
A case if they've gone like, look what we did last year. We weren't there. It was all right. We can do better than that. Let's give people the full show that they should have had
been,
last year.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then next year we'll move on.
I told that same exact thing to Alexa.
Because that,
and I think that's what it must be.
Yeah.
But again, and it's not a knock, but that's kind of selfish, because you have thousands and thousands of people coming that saw this show last year almost verbatim.
Again, I'm still going to disagree with it. It's not, but okay.
In my opinion.
It's
from
the
what I
same
remember.
story.
But there are also thousands and thousands who didn't get to see it as well.
It's a remake.
There's two here. Yeah, it's a reboot.
A better one.
And that was my least favorite part of the show, is actually the story.
Okay.
So, yeah,
because I'm like, this
bothered.
dude literally is wearing flannel pajama pants, and he's like dancing. And the end scene where he's dancing actually with the dancers in his pajamas, I'm like, you look really stupid.
It was a bit, that was a bit weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
And to be fair, and everything that I just said, that's not me saying it's a bad show.
No,
it's
no.
a good show.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just I'm a little bit bothered by the points that I made.
Yeah.
But aside from that, if you've never seen Fuel Girl or Nightmare Fuels, you will love the show. It's
Which
just
we
a
hadn't.
fantastic show.
It was
Which
new
you
to
had
us.
it, yeah.
We were saying last night when we were looking that the main Fuel Girl is phenomenal. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is. Just
She's a beat.
Oh yeah, just what a presence she has on that stage.
She's she commands that stage.
She really
She's stunning
does.
as well.
Yeah,
she's mesmerizing.
Yeah, I loved it personally. I saw it 3 times.
And
I thought it was phenomenal.
Also, shout out to the beardy guy.
Oh yeah,
who was a little bit ripped. Not that I noticed. I don't think
he had him painted on.
I don't think Alexa or Gillian noticed either.
Techno Viking.
Yeah, we definitely weren't screaming obscenities at the stage. That was after tequila. But yeah, the acrobatic floor ring. I don't know what it's called. I could watch good performers of that for hours, and he was amazing.
Yeah. Or the skinny girl up on this on the pedestal in the audience doing the stuff on the pole.
See, that doesn't do it for me. I thought that was a bit weird and awkward.
No, I was like, how in the hell? Oh my God, is she gonna fall off this whole huge stage? That was cool.
The best bit was the bit before her, the girl with like the big fiery fans with the strobe light on. I just think that whole section was phenomenal. It was so well done.
I think Jade might have got her first proper crush there as well. There was a point Jade just stuttered. I was like, oh.
I mean, to be fair, the lass who comes up on there and does the little dancey thing, she was kind of tidy. And my favourite one wasn't there when we did it on the RIP tour. I was very disappointed, especially when I was
bummed out.
Sat in the very specific spot where she would have been. She wasn't there. Gutted.
Oh.
But apparently they have a different
schoolgirl getting to school.
Yeah.
Like, wait till you see her.
Apparently they have a different team during the week as they do on a weekend, and that's why.
So I've just realised, out of the 4 of us, I win because I don't have to share.
Yeah.
That's true.
So maybe Michelle and Chris fighting over all the women.
Mind you, there's a couple I'd fight you for.
Okay. But yeah, I love the 2 shows this year. Were the 29's Academy of Villains and Marathon of Mayhem? No, but I liked them a lot.
Yeah, it's hard to get into that kind of discussion when you just start comparing everything to the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, I'm sure everybody's a little bit hungry right now, so why don't we talk about some of the food that we had there.
Go on. She's been desperate to talk about it for about half an hour at this point.
Well, since I ate it. The African lentil
oh, yeah, and sambusa.
sambusa coffin. Oh, that was the best thing by far that I had in the whole event. That was amazing. So
Did you have that last as well? Like towards the end of your trip?
No, I think it
No,
was
it was
fairly
one of
early on.
yeah, had some disappointments.
Because didn't you get that the same time Jade and I had the Tombstone Red Velvet
Yeah, 'cause we
cake
sat
pop
we were sat
and
next to the tractor.
the Little Boo's pumpkin bun,
Mm-hmm.
which were good. I like both
Yeah.
of them. The Haunted Horseshoe is the MVP for me for this year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what else I had.
So good. You had the Rippers.
Oh, they were amazing. Apart from the micro cilantro on the top, which gross.
Michelle, other than your RIP tour, did you get to try any of the food?
You said other than the RIP tour?
Yeah.
I tried the maggot covered
Oh,
cheese dog.
how was it? Because I kind of wish I'd got that now.
It was good, actually.
I loved it.
I couldn't have eaten more than one because it was definitely heavy.
Mm.
I've really.
But it was actually good.
I just think of the image and think it's the only time you'll ever see Michelle do that.
Wow.
I couldn't. I had to say it. I'm sorry.
Which
very true.
Which
Just
version
like,
did you get?
Chrissy's churro dog.
Yeah, Chris bought me the
yeah,
churro
that was
dog.
the best thing ever.
It didn't work. I appreciate the offer, Chris. I really do.
I thought it worked,
It was nice,
Oh.
but it was a bit weird.
but Lee put
I'm
his
just talking
nose
about
on
when
it.
Tracy took
Oh,
the
yeah,
head
the
off.
end.
Lee,
off.
Lee put his nose on it before I got to try it, and I'm me. So I was like, I'm not eating that bit. So I pulled that off, and yeah,
It looked like a little winky.
peeping out.
It
Oh,
really
it was
did,
great.
though.
It was, yeah, that was a highlight.
It even had. I think
Oh
we
my
need to have a
God.
conversation off air. I want to know what they call.
Well, we don't call what you're about to say
Not anymore, no. But anyway,
the little pee-pee hole.
we will have that conversation
Did we
off
take
air.
a photo? I can't remember.
Don't know.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah,
had a pee-pee hole?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It really looked like a winky.
yeah, a winky. I love it.
A
Oh,
little
I can go so
circumcised
many
Twinkie.
places.
Oh, I'm
God.
sure.
That's funny.
Michelle, with you on the maggot dog. I really enjoyed the
Yeah, I
maggot
really
dog.
wish I'd
I got
tried
it a
it.
few times.
There's some things
Yeah,
that
it was
looked really
good. It was like, you had some bites of corn dog and then you had like a bite of a
The winky.
mozzarella stick. Yeah.
No winky.
Well, that's how
Winky.
that's how Korean corn dogs are done.
I got
It's
challenged.
half. Yeah, it's half cheese, half.
I've never had that before, and I am in love with it. It's like
Yeah.
the best of both worlds.
If you can get those, but also rolled in diced potato, that's and have sugar. Always have the sugar sprinkled.
I had a super drunk
That's the best way
Kenneth
to
go,
eat it.
you need to try the PB&J. It is the best thing here. And I'm like, I'm not. Go buy it now, he said. Go buy. I'm not buying it now. He went, right, I'm going to go and buy it for you. So off he trots and comes back there, eat. And I took one bite and went, oh, God, no, that's disgusting. It was just like hot, fatty peanut butter sandwich. It was horrible. It was not nice.
Mm.
I can't believe that's the only food that I actually bought at HHN.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because there's
Well, you did
so
get to try
much.
a bunch at the RIP, right?
Yeah.
Or-
There won't have been that much. We didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot new that was released afterwards as well.
There wasn't
there?
a lot of stuff that you could get from the food booths that were on our RIP tour. I don't know whether you got different stuff.
Well, we got some kind of a little slider.
Yeah, they were all right.
thing.
Yeah,
I didn't have it, but they had the zombie brain
Yeah.
it was
cauliflower.
cauliflower. It was cauliflower. That's it. It was cauliflower.
Yeah.
Pizza fries.
They had the chicken.
The Nashville hot chicken. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Out.
Ooh,
Quite
that
hot.
was good.
It was hot.
I'm starving.
It wasn't, but okay.
They had the tablet cookie.
No, we didn't get that.
No, we got a ghost.
I thought-
I've just been looking at my photos.
And that brownie thing that was, anyway.
Oh, that brownie was amazing. I don't do chocolate.
Brownie cupcake.
Yeah, don't
Did
put them
it-
all in once. No.
Did it? What?
Did any of you try to try the burnt offerings mac and cheese?
No.
No,
They had that at our RIP.
wasn't there.
Did you have it?
Yeah, it was really bland.
Mm.
Okay. Disappointing.
Well,
the
Burnt ends were fantastic.
the chicken offals, which was my most anticipated because everybody knows how much I like Korean food.
No.
No, they forgot some components.
Okay.
They did. I'm sorry. They used gochujang. Brilliant. don't use it straight. It needed sugar or honey adding to it because that's what brings the depth of flavour out. It was very
Is it
disappointing.
supposed to be as spicy as they were?
Gochujang's
Okay.
quite
we also
spicy.
got the
Freshly ground princess.
and now we'd left it 3 days before we ate it, and we're like, oh, it's a bit stale and a bit naff. No, apparently that's how it is. Someone was
Yeah, for
complaining.
that.
Yep, but
Someone was complaining in
I
one
know,
of the
but-
groups yesterday, saying I think they made them all at the beginning of the event, wrapped them up, and are still selling them.
even though you knew it was going to be a bit soft because obviously it's crispy treats that are,
How do you mess up a
syrup.
crispy treat?
but it had no flavour.
It did. It just wasn't
No, it
pleasant.
didn't.
It
Or
did.
did it?
It just wasn't pleasant. How do you mess up a Rice Krispie treat?
I'm going to remake those. And
Because
do
They
it.
were
kinda
very
did.
soggy.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. I mean, don't get me wrong. The packaging was amazing.
Oh,
but
I know.
The actual food
I
stuff
love that.
itself was a bit.
Yeah. So I was a little disappointed. That little area though I enjoyed.
Yeah, you had the spicy apple Pop-Tart thing from Today
Oh, from-
Cafe. as
yeah,
well, didn't you?
That was nice. Same size as the African lentil one, but it was quite sickly. Half of it was enough.
That's why I
However,
got the rest of it.
I can't stand white chocolate.
Oh,
There was a little white chocolate skull on that, and it was the best white chocolate I've ever had because it wasn't sickly sweet. So maybe American white chocolate is for me.
Okay,
You can keep
Better
all the
than
other
Karamak?
types. Ugh, they're gross.
she didn't like Karamak.
They're
Love
horrible.
it.
Good. That's why you get my share.
Thank you.
Ugh.
I like it.
Yeah.
Any other foods that stand out to you guys?
The twisted tater around
I
the
still didn't
hot
get
dog
one.
thing, it was a bit naff, honestly. For how much it was, I was kind of like, oh, is that it? It was a bit awkward to eat, if I'm honest.
Watching our friend Travis eat
Oh,
was
the Good
interesting.
Guys burger.
Wow.
Oh, the Good Guys burger. Yeah,
He was a
that
mess.
monstrosity.
Well, I noticed he was sticky. So I said, don't come near me with those sticky fingers. So then he proceeded to rub all of the stuff
All
over
over
his
his face.
face. He was
It
covered.
looked like he'd...
And then he went, I might have made a mistake.
Yeah,
They had to
looked-
go wash his face.
it was
I was-
funny.
Oh, it was...
The one thing I didn't get
Don't
that I
be
really
sticky.
wanted was the... It was over there as well. It was the beignet. The wanna play beignet. I really wanted that and I
Oh,
never
yeah.
got it.
out at the pepperoni skull.
Yeah,
And-
the queue
Oh, we
for
never
that
got
was...
that either.
Yeah.
The queue for it was always a mile long because I know Raymond wanted it and we ended up in Louise instead.
But what I'm kicking myself at most is when I was in Walmart, I saw the molds
Yeah.
and I didn't pick one up. They were only like $5.
The pepperoni skulls were all right.
Oh, you had one?
We had one on the opening night that we got to try one then. I think we bought another one later on because Alexa wanted to try it. It was okay. I mean, I give them props for trying to deviate from pizza fries and come up with a new pizza concoction.
How was
But,
that impressive pizza fries?
It's okay. It's very filling though. Like they jam pack that with meat sauce. Like it is
Okay.
a lot of meat.
So yeah, I did this character dining, which was very different from my past experiences.
Mm.
Because we weren't there.
Yeah,
That's true.
we weren't there on most of them.
That's it right there. Conversation over. No, so the food was not good.
Really?
Like, at all. It was a really weird offering, like mixture of offerings. So they did the Nashville hot wings. That was one thing. They also had like a beef tenderloin roast that they would slice off pieces for you. They had like a little cup of Caesar salad. They had a pasta salad, the macaroni and cheese.
Pizza. They must have had
was-
pizza.
They had a little cup, pizza. They had a little cup of hummus and carrot sticks and celery.
Ugh.
It was like a weird, like off mixture of foods. And then for the dessert, all they had were like these little macaroon things and a little tiny cup of gelato and like a red velvet,
Ooh,
some type of a red velvet little
cake.
something. It was tiny. So the food was like, okay, well that was weird.
Sounds like a leftover extravaganza.
Yeah.
to me.
It was like that's what it felt like. It was very weird. And then they served like everything in separate dishes. So we had a tray of food, but every like station we went to, like every person that was serving stuff, they would put instead of putting it all on one big plate, they would put it in like little separate serving dishes. And there were 5 of us sitting at one table, and we all had a tray with like tons of different dishes, and we had nowhere to put all of our stuff. It was just weird and unorganized. And then the character interactions were kind of cool, but they, our experience, there were a lot of characters walking around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just had like the 2, the bride and Frankenstein over for the
and then Shorty as well, wasn't there? The we did it.
Yeah. This one they had where they had like a corner with Michael Myers, so you could go over there and take pictures and interact with him. That was fun. I love that.
So well set up.
Yeah, and then they had a little section over on the side with the mummy for a photo. But then there were only like, it took almost an hour for any scare actor to come over to us at all.
So this goes off. We were watching a vlog by our Jim and Steph from the Despicable 3, and they said exactly the same thing. They coined it scarce actor dining.
Scarce actor.
Yeah. There were walking around. There were 3. That's it.
Wow.
For the whole restaurant.
That's a bummer because that's what you're going there for.
Yeah. Pin for.
Not the food.
No, there were 3, and the 3 were a witch from Coven, which you know how awful that was.
Yeah,
that's why that place is empty.
One of the masked women from Chupacabra.
Which she was actually, even though she wasn't at all scary, her interaction was fun. She was very in character, and we had a whole conversation. So she was actually trying to invite us to her fiesta.
Cool.
And trying to convince us. And I was like, no, I'm not going. I heard there was a chupacabra there. And she was like, no, what's this chupacabra?
Brilliant.
What's a chupacabra? I was like, it looks kind of like a dog. She's like, no, we don't have dogs in our village. So it was kind of fun. And then they had a little girl from Sweet Revenge that had on like a pumpkin face mask. And she made it fun only because it was my niece's, she's 30th birthday on that day that we were there, and I told her it was her birthday, so she made her get up and like she made everybody sing to her, and so she made it fun, but none of them tried to scare us ever.
I think they're still learning to use that space, aren't they? They've realized that they have to do it, and that was the only place they could do it, and then probably still learning how to make the most of it in that space when they've done it for so many years at Monsters Cafe.
Well, I can tell you how. Put more damn actors in there.
Yeah. It could have been
easy.
Going back to just not having enough actors, period.
Yeah.
It also seemed a little bright.
But it took place before. Yeah, it was very bright in there. It took place before my seating started at 5. The event didn't start till 6:30. So every scare actor that was working that night could have shown up at scare actor dining.
Plus, I also think the venue where it's at. I mean, the Monsters Cafe just had a very...
Of course it did. It was made
cozy.
For it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was just... It's cozy. It's dark. It was perfect for that.
Yeah.
And I've seen some pictures and stuff like that of where they do it now. It just doesn't feel the same.
No.
Yeah.
It was weird. I mean, would I do it again? Yeah, because I just like scare actor. I like the photo ops and being able to interact with them like that. But unless you made the effort to interact with them, it didn't happen.
No,
like the conversations with the mask maker wouldn't have happened if I hadn't interacted with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with the happy birthday. Like she just was walking by. I was like, hey, it's her birthday. And so something happened, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. That reminds
me,
just before we wrap up, I had a listener reach out to me, and it's something I actually thought. So we never talked about drinks.
I was just going to say, I was going to say something.
No non-alcoholic signature drinks for Halloween Horror Nights.
No, and I commented on that.
There's a lot of people. You don't necessarily need to be young. Jade was 18. There was nothing for her to have that wasn't just soda. And for me, that doesn't drink an awful lot.
There was one.
Which was what?
Wasn't it? I'm going to guess the name, but it was like the Undead Tiki or something.
I didn't see that.
No,
so there's one non-alcoholic drink.
it was one non-alcoholic drink and also impossible to find at the event. Because the only reason why I knew it was there is because it was one of the 3 drinks we could sample for the media night.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, here's a non-alcoholic drink. But finding it, I don't know where. Actually, Christina is the one that asked about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should have
in
been
the Producers
available
Club.
everywhere.
No, it was an email we got as well. Someone else asked as well about it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they should.
Yeah, there
They
was
should
one,
do
but I
something.
honestly could not even at any of the booths. I mean, there's probably one booth that has it, which is
I wonder if it was at the Dead Coconut Club.
no. This was in park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Yeah. Very quickly, Save Your Tears was, in my opinion, the best drink.
Oh, no,
Of the
you
event.
raved about it.
Thank you, Chris, for hooking me up.
Tanking her off.
Yeah.
And the Ghoul Juice. Yeah. Maya's rum. I've now discovered how bad that is. It tastes like, as Chris Azell said, rubber balloon air. And yeah, all I'll say is I was very grateful for my very first tequila afterwards. Cause
Tequila Cherry Broken.
twice. I owe the third one when we get back out. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh,
But,
you guys are having a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And more to come.
Tequila made it fun too.
Yay! Not so much the next day, but it's okay. I had a beer for breakfast. Sorted me right out.
Good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Cool. Of course,
Right.
the event is still going on, so don't forget if you're heading out this week or you haven't got them in yet, we're still asking for submissions for our UUOP Listener House rankings. You still can affect the overall ranking. There's a few that are kind of set in stone at this point, but there are still places that can change and are being changed quite regularly. So all we're going to do is take the 10 houses from this year, put them in order from your favourite to your least favourite, and send them to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, that is, I think we beat up the scare zones and we beat up the food pretty well.
Yeah.
I would say so.
I think we've killed the event this year. Well, not quite, anyway.
I'd still take another night.
Yeah.
As far as covering it,
Maybe
I was
what
going
she
to say we've killed it, but we haven't really, because we're going to talk about it next week as well.
Mm-hmm. With a very special guest.
Oh, yes.
But you'll have to wait for that. So, yeah, that's going to be it. And we are going to end the show with another Universal Is. Now, this one comes from Gretchen Smith, which I actually had the pleasure of meeting out there on one of my visits. Yeah, she was awesome. If you would like to get involved wrapping up the podcast, just let us know what you think Universal is in 3 words or less and send them to podcast@uuopodcast.com. But for episode 530, Gretchen says Universal is my personal gym. See you next time.
That was another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast, the best and only podcast about Universal Orlando on the island. Check us out on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. For all the podcasts, news, and articles, check out our blog at uuopodcast.com. Contact us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. Join the Producers Club by emailing us at uuopproducers@gmail.com. Listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, for all your other theme park news, and email Michelle at portkeyvacations.net to book your next trip. So until next time, this is Amity 6, Call Off the Marines, we're coming home.